the toothpaste and left it on the counter, because that's what I argued. It would be always so silly.
Tiny stuff. Yeah.
I ain't gonna call it tiny, but it was, because it was big in my head.
Right, at the time.
Okay. Yeah. It was big in his head, at the time. I remember we got into it, and this was big because the light kept turning off in the chandelier every time he replaced the bulb. Mm-hmm. And so I'm thinking something's wrong. Now, I know you're a home inspector, but you're not an electrician. So can you call the electrician? He basically told me no. I'm like, okay. So you want us to die because you want the house to just catch on. Right. So I'm still trying to be very reasonable. Mm-hmm. And everybody who knows me knows the way my nerves are set up. Right. After the fourth or fifth time, I have lost all connection with manners. Yeah. They already are fleeting, but by the fourth or fifth time, so we got into it, and I wasn't talking to him anymore. So finally, he was like, "Well, you a minister?" I was like, "Don't even try that with me." I said, because God says, if you can't get along with your brother, your sister, or your man, or whoever, don't even come to him. We're supposed to get along, so don't throw it in my face. So everything that he tried to get me to, I guess, acquiesce to him not calling the electrician. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm like, hello, like, I didn't ask you to go build a house or jump over the moon. It's like, do something simple. But let me finish. Okay. So I wasn't talking anymore. I'm done. I'm not talking at all. Shut down. Mm-mm. So he went to the preacher, honey. He went up to the church because he was a deacon or deacon in training. And he sat down like, yeah, my wife is upset. And the preacher said, she should be mad at you. Like, the other man told him basically that he was wrong and I was right. And I know it's not always about being right or wrong, but this time it was. It was like the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget, because I wasn't talking to him anymore. Like, I could just see his countenance was just big and bad and huffy and puffy. And when he came back home from, I guess this visit, his whole energy was different. Mm-hmm. Everything. I could see the regret, the remorse, the apology. And of course he said it. And, we called and there was an issue, and it got fixed. And so, sometimes, trying to address a hard situation, it is hard. And I think that sometimes as women, and you can maybe speak to this, we're afraid of what might happen if we go all the way there. Mm-hmm. And we're also probably afraid of what might happen if we don't. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we just choose not to enter the space. Yeah, that could very well be it. A couple of things came up for me is him having an outlet of someone he respected. Yes. Was important. And not talking to one of those fools his age with no woman telling him, don't let her tell you what to do. Where you gonna live? Because you ain't gonna be able to come here. Whoever told you that, go stay with them. Right. Well, and I think the same thing holds true for women. Not being able to have a sisterhood or having an older aunt or grandma or, church lady. Or a little big sister. Can also, aid in helping with perspective. Because sometimes the perspective is just off. It could be right, it could be wrong, whatever in between. But if it helps to get a word from someone who has either been through it or just have like some super duper successful turnout in terms of their perspective, that might help. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the enemy to that is, a lot of people live by this rule. Well, keep your business, between you and your significant other to yourself. Don't tell anybody. Yeah. And that may be true to a degree, but when you are really having an issue, yes, there should be someone that you can trust to give you an objective assessment. Right. I was just thinking, what happens in those cases, people feel like they want to control the outcome of things. So it's like, oh my goodness, I'm not going to tell my aunt that he hit me because this is the first time. All right. And he said he wasn't going to do it again. And so I'm not going to tell anybody. But the truth is
you need
to speak to somebody.
And if in fact you decide you're going to stay with them and everybody else is upset with him, you got to live with that. Because really that's
the problem.
Where you should be upset as well.
Yeah. But I told my children, now listen, please help me keep my reputation. Help me keep my freedom and my sanity. Yeah. Because somebody hitting you, that's just not going to go over with. Right. That's just not something that we're about to just sit around and be like, oh yeah, he beating on my daughter. Oh no, right. That's not going to happen.
Right. And if we take it down a couple of notches to where we were just talking about, having a bit of a tiff or an argument or something of that nature, people feel like, well, I'm not going to share it with so-and-so because then they might have a different opinion about him.
Yeah,
we cannot control how they're going to look at it. We just need to make things truthful.
Yeah.
And so if that means sharing that with someone because you need a better perspective on it, then by all means. And I don't know if somebody needs to hear that out there, but.
Well, there's a couple of things about this. And when I met Demetrius, he was good, but he still had to pass the Grandma B test.
Oh.
And I was clear. If she don't like you, Joker, you are history.
Ooh.
That was just it.
Mm-hmm.
The precursor to that is I knew that she wanted what was best for me. Mm-hmm. I knew she wasn't a jealous parent. Mm-hmm. She wasn't someone who would try to hold me back from having happiness. She wasn't somebody who would come up with ridiculous excuses, because I know that there are some situations where people fall in love and then the parent has an issue because the person is a different color or a different socioeconomic status or whatever. And so you may have to hold your ground with some of those things. But outside of that, I was crystal clear. And let me tell you why I was clear about her being in agreement. Because I wanted her to feel safe. Mm-hmm. I didn't want her worrying about me.
Right.
She raised me. She gave me breath. Literally, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And so what can I do for her in her older years? I can bring her joy, family. When we visit and she just made some biscuits and he's, enjoying them, or the kids are there. That's her joy too. And so I think, I don't think I've ever said it this way. I think sometimes if we can just think, and there are a lot of women out there hurting, people who have, never been in a loving relationship, some who have, and then it went wrong, many who have been married and then divorced, and then, either we become very afraid and bitter, never want to have love again, or we are in situations that are hurtful. They're hurtful to us. Guess what? They're hurtful to the people you love too. And so I think it's important to at least consider, if I'm going to be in a relationship with someone, let's make sure I'm happy. And the people who love and trust and really support me and stand with me, let's make them happy too. Let's see what this is all about and then work through those details. And for me, that's what it was. I wanted to be in a relationship that felt like harmony for me, for my grandmother, for my family. I didn't want to be in a relationship and the person comes around and everybody's angry, don't trust them, because that weighs heavily on the relationship as well.
Yeah, totally. No, I agree with that. I think there's a way to find harmony in truth. Harmony comes with truth and communication.
Yeah. And it comes with, there was something that was said earlier about, and again, hard conversations, either being afraid to go all the way there and turning the person off, or not going there and then being further, because it's like, I may only have one question now, but I can just sit with this one question. But if I open the door, I might hear something I don't want to hear. And now I might have 8 questions.
Right.
And then I'll be really uncomfortable.
Right.
So I'll just say a little uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the person continues to do more and more things in that arena that you don't know anything about. And you're getting more uncomfortable anyway. So there's either the fear of going all the way there or not going there at all. And what I would say to you, and you got it, but to anybody is anything that you're afraid of losing, you've already lost it anyway.
Mm-hmm. There you have it. Well, what I was actually going to say, in connection and in addition to that is for, women in their 20s to not be afraid of the information that you'll find out through questions.
I think these girls today, honey, these sisters, they not playing.
That's one thing. But what I am hearing a lot these days is that the younger women are not connected enough. And what it is that they're looking for is not stability, but more so help with the bills. Now, of course, this is a certain sector of women. I'm not saying all younger women. But I do think it's okay to get serious. It's okay because that's when he knows that he has to come with more than just himself.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's really important.
I probably want to help with my bills. I was living check to 2:00. Mm-hmm. But I also wanted trust, but the help with the bills was not going to make me overlook things that I felt were going to impede trust, honor, dependability, and true love in a relationship. Mm-hmm. So I think it's okay to know what it is that you need at any given point in time and to acknowledge that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, am I allowing myself to be in these relationships because I need help with the bills? Like, if that's your thing, say that to you. Say that. And then start to work that out. And I think if we're truthful with ourselves, we will eventually get to a space that we can actually start to be proud of the choices that we're making and the situations that we're in. Mm-hmm. It's avoiding the truth about, well, you know what? I have these kids. I need to pay some bills. So guess what? Mm-hmm. You it. Mm. If that's your thing, acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Acknowledge it. So you can grow. You cannot fix what you will not face.
Right.
That really is a thing. So I don't put anybody down even for that. Of course it is, you can applaud, Grandma B, she left when her marriage was no longer working. Mm-hmm. She thought he was going to try to kill her. And instead of killing him, she left.
Yeah.
The next day, with her 3 children, 8th grade education, and hightailed it from Georgia to Indiana Bend, and ended up in Chicago and struggled for 18 months. And then he passed my grandfather, her husband passed, and she wound up then getting his Social Security and pension, and things became a little better. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was very difficult for her. And I imagine she did need help with the bills. Mm-hmm. But one of the things she told me growing up is that because of that experience, she was never going to put another man over her daughter. Mm-hmm. And I can understand that at the time. Yeah. Given, the power or lack thereof that women had. Mm-hmm. So, if that's somebody's situation, I think it's okay to acknowledge it. And then I think it's even better to go on and work through that.
Yeah. I'm in agreement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you ever wondered how best to take care of your hair? Have you wondered why your hair responds to one kind of product, but your best friend's hair responds to another? Better yet, what about your siblings' hair? You came from the same parents, but your hair is so different. Well, guess what? MYAVANA is the world's first AI texturized hair care analysis system. Get a strand analysis and get personal recommendations for your hair care. Okay, so then, because we kind of talked around that, mm-hmm. Then if you wanted to travel and he couldn't, so how do you handle it now?
Well, it just so happens that I'm involved with someone who can handle all sorts of travel, but he also has several businesses. So my thing is to not put the pressure on him to be everywhere that I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lot of places.
Woo.
And, there's a lot of dinners and parties and performances and all sorts of things that someone can really, really want to be at all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when we sit down and have truthful conversations
Mm-hmm.
of what matters
mm-hmm.
and what doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
what I'd love to have him, attend and what doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We can really get down to a safe space and a trusting space where if he doesn't come, I'm not thinking anything outside of he's handling business. And if I say to him, it's no need for you to come, he's not thinking I'm trying to see somebody else there.
Yeah.
It's just very trusting.
And the other thing about that, and this is something that has to be addressed for somebody like you, who's a public person, and this is for anybody, whatever it is that you do. You may be in an industry or whatever it is, or you just may have family that you tend to be around a lot. I think what's important and what stands out for you in your relationship is that the person doesn't have to be validated by being seen with you. That the relationship has validation in and of itself, whether they are there seen with you or not. And, that goes a long way because sometimes we're with someone and so then we want to make sure everybody knows it. And so we want to be there and now I don't have the money and now I'm mad I don't have the money. So now I got another issue and I'm not really saying that's the issue, but now I'm picking a fight with you and, so on. But it's, my position even in this business, like I remember, folks started posting all their hip hop 50 pictures and all of their, pictures that they've had over the years with all the celebrities. And I couldn't find a lot. And I've been around a lot of celebrities.
I've got quite a few of you.
Of me. I don't have it. Because you're taking a picture. I'm not.
No, these are like red carpet photos that he's been in with, Felicia Butterfield and Russell Simmons and Roxy Diaz and Yo-Yo.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Barack, Michelle, everybody. Yeah, I've been in lots of pictures. Mm-hmm. My point is, I couldn't necessarily go find them.
Oh, okay.
They weren't that important to me to go take myself. Mm-hmm. And I know that there are people who come in the entertainment industry and they're working behind the scenes, but they got to go get that picture.
Yeah.
That's never been me. I don't have to go get a picture. Right. As a matter of fact, I typically
don't want to.
And I only want to take a picture if the person knows me and asks. Or say, hey, come get in the picture. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, great. We were having lunch with Snoop and his son, who, by the way, I love them both so much. Just to see that father-son and how they're building the empire. And I guess I must have said 2 or 3 things. And by the time we were done, he was like, let's take a picture. I was like, now come on, that's me. Yes. But that was it was a good moment because I wasn't going to bum rush him for a picture. People always ask him for a picture.
Right.
But the fact that he thought it was, good to take one, I thought that was good.
Memorialize.
Yeah, to that moment. Mm-hmm. And I don't have that picture. Mm-hmm. See what I'm talking about?
You don't?
No.
It's got to be in your phone.
I didn't take the picture.
Oh.
And nobody sent it to me, and I didn't ask.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
But it doesn't mean I don't value it. I think it's very endearing but that moment was for me, and it's okay that everybody doesn't see it. Mm-hmm. And so, coming back to being in a relationship with someone who can appreciate the value of the relationship without it having to always be on display.
Right.
Is the point.
Yes. That's the point.
And there could be some very big moments. I mean, you just had a whole Hip Hop 50 tour, or you had a whole Hip Hop 50 tour. Mm-hmm. And so that's good. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about, I get the feeling that we might have to have this conversation and we might have to invite some of our other sister friends in.
That would be good.
Into the conversation, but boundaries. Mm-hmm. So hard conversations, but what about boundaries? Do you feel like you have more boundaries now or less?
No, I don't think I have more. I just think that I'm aware of them and willing to speak about them.
Yes.
And they're not necessarily, I wouldn't say, they're so easy and they make so much sense. I don't know that I identify them as boundaries. Boundaries feels a little bit like stay out. Like I'm in, you stay out of this perimeter. But what I am is truthful with myself as well as, my partner, so that he understands what I find to be not cool.
Yeah. Well,
case in point, like, switching numbers with one of my friends because y'all talking business. No, the business will come through Sunny Girl. Remember that.
Yeah, what's going on over there? What y'all talking about? Yeah.
Get some clarity going.
Yeah, because you are, you're mogul. Like you have a whole entire empire. And if someone comes into your world and then begins to speak with your business partners, that could be weird. Yeah. Without having proper conversation, communication. So, I've had to say to some family members from time to time who want to do business with you. Now, the people who understand boundaries, my closest friends, they will never come to you to discuss business without first coming through me. Right. Even though they know you and talk to you and we've traveled together, they just understand how things should be protocol. So those are boundaries. Everything isn't just open for anything. One of our good friends in the business said they were out with you all, and one of my daughters saw him and said, hi, Mr. So-and-so. He was like, maybe you shouldn't call me Mr. at the hip hop event. He want to be young and just call by his first name. But she's like, you're my mother's peer. Right. And the boundary that I have grown understanding is that I'm going to call you Mr. Or Miss. And, or sir. Or absolutely. And I mean, I can't take it back. They still call me mommy. It's like, y'all grown with your own jobs, got degrees, and they still call me mommy.
They still call dad daddy.
They call him daddy. They call me mommy. The issue is whenever they start having children, because I don't want to be grandma, none of that. Oh. I said, Dr. Lynn. They was like, mama, the kid. I was like, they can call me Dr. Lynn. That will make I feel like I'm still doing something right. They're like, mommy, how we gonna look calling you mommy and our kids calling you Dr. Lynn? I was like, it's okay. Like we have an understanding. Yeah, I gotta find the name. Yeah. Because I don't have it yet.
Yeah. I'll help you.
Yeah, I haven't found one yet. We got to find something. Yeah. Jazzy and cute.
Right. Jazzy. It might be Jazzy.
Come on, Jazzy.
Come on, Jazzy.
Where's Jazzy? Where's Jazzy? Oh, I like that. Yeah. Okay, maybe we'll put that on the list. Yeah. It's my future grandmama.
So next go round, we'll call in some more of our sisters that
boundaries.
Speak to this.
Yeah, because boundaries.
Relationship.
Yeah, there are boundaries. And, you have a funny story, and, we'll get to talk more about this, but one of your family members is married to someone who absolutely loves the fact that his wife pretty much checks him regularly.
All the time.
What is boundaries?
Boundaries.
He probably knows if she didn't check him, he would be on the ground, laying down, somewhere trying to figure out how to get out of the hole.
And if she didn't check him, she don't care no more.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But the fact that he loves it and craves it and appreciates it and understands it means that he understands something about himself.
Yes. That and her. And they've got a really strong bond.
Yeah.
They've been together, I think coming up on 3 decades.
3 decades.
At about the 28 mark.
Wow.
And so, they just have an unbelievable amount of trust with one another. And that's what it takes.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Again, talking about boundaries, because yes, there are boundaries, but there are also some spaces where it's open. And, during my marriage, when we had children, I was like, I had them. It's your turn. Look, I carry.
Here you go.
Listen, here. Okay. So he did a lot of we did my kids didn't drink formula, store-bought formula. when I was not breastfeeding, and I only think I made it like a little bit of the way with two of them. One of them wasn't having it. But we made our formula from scratch, the old fashioned way, and he made it. He'd get up, he'd boil the water, add the Karo syrup, the vitamins, and, the stuff that went in it. And he'd bathe them at night. And, he'd do those things. He'd comb their hair when I wasn't home, when I was traveling. And so there are some areas that are open. And I was having a conversation with someone, and we were laughing about something that my husband was at home doing. I was on the road, and the person said, "Oh, well, he's probably doing that because he has nothing to do." And I was like, "What makes you think he has nothing to do?" He has a lot to do. He has more to do than me, because he helps me get better and ready and prepared and so on. And I don't even know how to turn off the air in my house. I don't know how to do anything. I don't know how anything works. If it's a switch, or I know he knows it all. And keeping the grounds and the people who come, and I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So, and he does it for your house as well. So, there are so many things, not to mention, providing security and, all those other things, and the things that we need. So yeah, there's some open places and some open spaces, as well. We're also going to talk about fear. Also going to talk about faith, and how they both play a role in love or out of love, and some things that, we can do to overcome that. So, high five. High five. MC Lyte is in love. Go on, girl. Yeah, well, one day at a time. Yes. Thank you for listening to the Lynn Richardson podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe and share.